Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today, and I finally watched Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, you have to understand where I'm coming from. I was coming from the perspective all these years when Marvel announced that they were originally going to have Spider Man Homecoming's director, or that Spider Man MCU director, um, make a Fantastic Four film, and then he dropped out. I had argued with my friends for ages that there was no way we would ever have a Fantastic Four film that would be a popular movie. And you could argue maybe I'm still right about that, but I think this is probably going to be eternally the most well-received Fantastic Four movie ever. I was put off by so much going into it. Everything from Pedro Pascal to the Thing wearing sweaters and vests and stuff. Johnny Storm looked super, super weird with Joe Quinn playing him. Some of the things about Johnny that was announced, like he wasn't going to be super flirtatious and whatnot. The costumes, the title alone just put me off. First Steps, what does that even mean? And I guess it kind of makes sense because there's a baby involved, but it's still a bad title. Let's just be honest with ourselves. And I finally rented it yesterday. And I gotta tell you, man, I loved this. Now, when it comes to Fantastic Four, the only things I've ever experienced from it, I've never read a single comic of Fantastic Four strictly. They've appeared in a bunch of things I've read, but I've never read a Fantastic Four book, Stan Lee's era or otherwise. Because I'm just not into them. They always get this reputation of being the Marvel first family and whatever that's supposed to continuously mean throughout time. Like it actually matters. You know what I mean? And I gotta tell you, they could not have made this movie better. I don't think they could have, to be honest. I loved it. Now, when I was growing up, I saw the Tim Story movies, Fantastic Four and Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I still like those to an extent. Both of them, matter of fact. The Josh Trank remake, I really enjoyed. It was pretty much my favorite because it had this 1950s and 60s B sci-fi horror movie throwback feel to it. Even though everybody else hated it, apparently Josh Trank was a giant mess behind the scenes. I like that movie, and other fans of horror and sci-fi I know who like the old throwback style movies, they liked it too. An old friend of mine from work, when I worked at Big Lots years ago, he talked about loving it, But it's very trashed quite a bit. So I was like, I was a little annoyed about this movie coming out. It seemed like it was spitting in the face of both of those films I grew up with. And again, all the things I had my hesitance about, I was so completely corrected with this movie, I don't even know what to say. I guess I'll start with the plot for anybody who doesn't know. I'm not going to go into spoilers in case you still haven't seen it. If you're like me and we're still in the mindset of, I'm not going to waste my money on this movie, do it. I'm begging you, do it. So First Step essentially starts off with Reed and Sue in the beginning of the movie finding out that, Sue is pregnant with their first son. And they had been trying for a while to have this baby, and we kind of follow throughout her pregnancy, but not really. And then eventually, the Silver Surfer, who in this case is a girl, everybody, including some of my friends, have tried to pretend like they know who the fuck this female Silver Surfer is. It was so lame. She's kind of wasted in this movie. I know they're going to do more with her in the future, but I want the Silver Surfer, the one that we all knew, the bald dude from Rise of Silver Surfer. I don't really understand why they settled on this one, aside from certain character elements that they do with her. And she's played by, I think her name is Julia Garner, which I'm not a fan of Julia Garner, to be honest. I'm not saying she's a bad actress. I just don't like her that much, man. I'm sorry. Like a lot of this cast, I'm really put off with a lot of the cast, to be honest, of this movie. But that Silver Surfer chick shows up to basically say to New York City, where the Fantastic Four on this particular Earth, it's not our Earth, or our New York City. It's like this phrase that everybody learned because of this movie. It's a retro-futuristic Earth, where it's still like styled after the 50s and 60s, but it's like futuristic. There's flying cars, police cars fly. And again, Fantastic Four are the only people that are superheroes, as far as I know, on this planet. And there's kind of this panic when the Silver Surfer shows up and says, hey, there's this guy named Galactus, which we've seen mentioned in previous Fantastic Four iterations. He's going to show up, he's going to eat your planet, die with your loved ones. And Johnny can't let this go. And everybody on the Earth panics. There's kind of a deal once the Fantastic Four go to meet Galactus on his planet when they travel in space, which, by the way, seems super, super reckless because Sue is still pregnant. And I'm like, wouldn't the G-force of the rocket going into space cause her to miscarry or at least squish the baby? I don't know, man. I just feel like that was super reckless. I'm sure the idea is it's a movie, don't think about it too hard, but it's like, why would you bring your pregnant wife into space? Anyway, they go up there. If she didn't go, there would be no plot. But Galactus decides that somehow, someway, he can tell that this baby that Reed and Sue have been worried about, they're not sure if the baby is going to come out monstrous because of their powers and the radiation they went through back in the day, which, by the way, this movie's not an origin story. It has like a recap in like 2 seconds. Really thankful they learned the Spider-Man lesson and went that route. It saved this movie. If this had been another origin story, dude, it would have killed this franchise already. And not even that this movie was super popular. I mean, it was really popular, it seems, like amongst Fantastic Four people, people who went to see it, in the theaters, I mean. But it doesn't seem like it's as well received as something like, I don't know, like the Avengers movies, or the Cap movies, or the Iron Man movies, or even some of the Thor films. You know, it doesn't even seem like it's regarded that well, which kind of surprises me, because I think this is even better than Thunderbolts was, and I loved Thunderbolts quite a bit. And I've been really pissy about a lot of the post-Endgame movies, if you've been watching my channel a little bit. Anyway, so Galactus can, like, scan through bodies. I don't really know anything about Galactus. I know he eats planets, that's it. This Galactus looks amazing. He really does. He scans Sue, scans the baby in her, and makes a deal with them that he'll leave Earth alone if he can have their baby. Now, Sue and Reed, like I said, they tried to have a child for 2 years. They struggled a lot with that. They really didn't even want to talk about it anymore, so now that they're about to have their baby, even with all the panic about what it could do, if it has powers, if it's normal, they're immediately like, no, we're not doing that. And when they come back to Earth, there's this whole thing with the planet and the population of, like, New York, for example. And they get rioters and stuff outside of the Fantastic Four building. What is it, the Baxter Building? Is that what it's called? I think that's what I've heard. They get a whole bunch of rioters because they refuse to give up their kid to this space monster fake god thing that's threatening them. And, like, you don't know if he's going to hold his part of the bargain necessarily. You don't know that. And yet all these idiot New Yorkers are rioting over this. Are you stupid? You're just going to trust the space monster? And I'm assuming by this point no one had ever had an alien encounter, as far as I know. I don't think they did. I mean, they had monsters because some of the movie recounts classic Fantastic Four covers from the comics, which was really nice, by the way. Because I made a video a while back talking about how a lot of comic movies don't really have any kind of appreciation of the old comic material. At least it seemed like they did for a while, and now they don't a lot of the time. Like Thor: Love and Thunder, for example. But this movie did. This movie did, and I was wrong about it. I'll be the first to tell you, and I told my friends when we argued over this back in the day, I will be the first to tell you I was dead ass wrong about this movie. It had me emotional. It had me so tensed up in the third act of the movie because the stakes were so high. I loved it. I loved it. It's not the kind of movie I'd buy toys for because these heroes aren't as cool as, like, you know, Luke Skywalker or Spider-Man or whoever. I would buy figures of those characters over and over again. Not here. Because I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan, but I'm not going to lie, dude. If there's any comics out there you guys can recommend of Fantastic Four that's as great as this was, recommend them to me. Because I would love to read them. If they're as good as this, as emotionally engaging as this, I love First Steps. I think it is phenomenal. But that's pretty much all I want to tell you about this movie. There's kind of this, and nobody explained this movie to me, and I guess it was kind of implied, but nobody just formally said, this is like a doomsday countdown movie. In the sense of, like, there was a countdown clock to the Silver Surfer attacking the Earth sometimes to try to make way as a prophet almost for Galactus coming, just like the Rise of the Silver Surfer film. But this film handled it a lot better. And the Doomsday Clock countdown to Galactus is here now. And that shit is so intense, I don't even know how to explain it to you. Unless you've seen the film, you don't understand how well done that is. I guess I could talk a little bit about the cast now. Not a Pedro Pascal guy. I don't care how decent he is in some of the things I've seen. I haven't watched like The Last of Us. I don't plan on it. I haven't watched a lot of things that he's in, but I've seen him in like bit roles, like The Great Wall with Matt Damon. Did you forget about The Great Wall existing? Yeah. When he's like a B character, I think he's okay. That's really what I've seen him do. I gotta tell you, he was phenomenal as Reed. I know we all give him shit for being in a million things and being kind of unfairly in those roles. He was so good as Reed. Now, the guy from the Tim Story films from the 2000s, I like him a lot more. I would have loved to have had him come back. He's a little older now. But Pedro Pascal killed it here. Vanessa Kirby gave a solid performance. The problem that I have, and I know this is going to be mean, she's had too much filler and surgery, maybe some Botox, I don't know. She can barely emote. And yet, somehow, some way, she is such a good actress that she's able to work through all of the detrimental Botox and shit to really, and I mean really, capture the heart of a mother trying to protect her child in this movie. I loved that. I love that. The guy playing the Thing, I haven't seen him in anything ever. It's like a bunch of almost unknowns working on this film, by the way, when it comes to the director, the script, the script writers. I think there's like 4 main guys. I think one of them has done multiple Marvel projects like the Thunderbolts, for example. And then the other ones haven't done anything that's involving like MCU type stuff, which was wild to me. It's like a bunch of almost unknowns working behind the scenes that made this work so well. Now, the guy playing the Thing, he's good, right? I don't like their version of the Thing. Like, there's a cartoon in this world of the Fantastic Four because they're so popular in this world. That character in the cartoon will say it's clobberin' time. This character is treated a lot more like a human version. I don't know if it's based on like an Ultimate Fantastic Four era or something. I don't know. And this Thing wears like clothes and stuff. And aside from the ugly ass Fantastic Four costumes they have for this movie, that guy playing the Thing is fine. I don't really like his writing that much. There's not as much joking and fun between he and Johnny like there used to be. And I miss that from the Tim Story films and from what I've seen in the comics as I read through like Stan Lee's Spider-Man, and he might have like the Fantastic Four show up. This Thing is almost too smart, and I like the big dumb brawler type of thing. I feel like we need more of that in media. Comics, cartoons, movies, any of that. You go back and you watch Power Rangers and you have goofy characters like Bulk and Skull. And I know these are completely different types of budgets and talents, you know, but I feel like it wouldn't have hurt to have the Thing be a big, lovable goofball. In the sense of like being a monstrous, lighthearted, tough, almost like old-timey gangster talking type of dude. I feel like that was a mistake. And again, it's probably a modern-day comic thing, or these superhero films sometimes taking themselves a little too seriously. I don't know. I feel like it could have still worked into this movie for the most part, even with the stakes being so high. Johnny, I have a lot of problems with. The way they dyed Joe Quinn's like eyebrows and hair, the haircut they gave him, the way he carries himself, I just can't stand it. I can't stand what they did with Johnny in this movie. He doesn't feel like he fits into this group to me. I don't know what it is. He just rubs me the wrong way. I like him as an actor. I can't stand him in this. Joe Quinn may be a pretty solid actor. I haven't really seen a whole lot that he's done. I'm not a big Stranger Things guy outside of season 1. But like, they did him really dirty here. This is not a Johnny that flirts with women all the time and stuff. And like, I don't know what their goal is here. You know, he doesn't argue and debate with the Thing, like I said, and that annoys me too. I think he and Ben need to have that irritated with each other kind of like brothers do when they're growing up, and that's how they're represented in a lot of media. I think they needed to have more argumentation between them. They don't really have a whole lot of that, and it kind of makes the movie a little dry because you go into it expecting that because it's Johnny and Ben. You don't really get that kind of fun banter with them. And really, there's not a whole lot of humor in the movie at all, to be honest. I mean, there might be a sweet moment here or there. There's emotional moments, but there's not a whole lot of funny moments. And I'm glad about that because the MCU is a little bit over-indulgent in that, especially since the Taika Waititi days. But, dude, you needed a little bit more for that, in my opinion. Then you have, the little robot in here named Herbie. I love that robot. Did not think I would like him. I know he's in the old comics a little bit, but I really like him. But let's talk about the baby. The baby is in quite a bit of the film. Probably about halfway through the film, the baby is born, and then he's in it. That's a CGI baby. That's a CGI baby, and I cannot believe I have not heard one person bring up the fact that that baby is CGI. Probably every scene that he's in the movie. And it works for the film, but the CGI for the baby doesn't look good. Not in the way that they can get away with it. Any kind of action set piece, which there's a lot of action in this film, anything like that, anything involving Ben Grimm, for example, that stuff looks good. When Johnny turns into the Human Torch, it's not good. It's not good. Johnny just overall and the baby, to me, they get ripped off the most out of anybody in the film. And Galactus looks amazing. How do you fuck up the Human Torch, but Galactus looks amazing? I don't know, man. There's something off there. I can't really place it. But the flying car looks awesome in the movie. You've seen that in the trailers and stuff. This, again, retro-futuristic world, I really like that. The tech they have, the Baxter building stuff looks really nice inside. I really appreciated this. I am just so shocked that I'm sitting here making this review to tell you how much I loved this. Again, final thoughts. If you've not seen this movie, you should check it out. And that's coming from somebody who absolutely did not want to waste their time, but decided to. And I want a sequel. I want more Fantastic Four. It says they're going to be involved in Doomsday. Knowing they're going to be there and the X-Men that I grew up with are going to be there too. I'm really excited about that. We know Deadpool will be somehow involved in the Doomsday stuff because of Deadpool and Wolverine's future reference they do with Thor. There's a lot of cool buildup. I'm hoping that we get Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back. I don't know. I'm really excited about all this stuff. I really enjoyed this. I gotta say, despite my love for the Tim Story films and for the Josh Trank movie, this may be the best Fantastic Four film, and I never thought I would be here saying that. But here I am. Here I am. Again, if there's any comics that are like this movie, please let me know about them down in the comments, because I would love to read those. Thank you all for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about the Fantastic Four overall, whether it be comics, whether it be the movies, this movie. Let me know what you think. I want to hear what all of you have to say about it. I'm really pumped over this. I could almost rewatch this now. And matter of fact, I've already bought a copy of the movie. I bought a copy for Blu-ray. Even though I rented it, I decided to buy this copy after I watched the first hour of the film, because it was so good. I was like, there's no way that I'm not going to want to rewatch this. I would rewatch this more than Thunderbolts. And like I said, I really enjoyed Thunderbolts when I rented or when I bought that and watched it months ago. So yeah, I'm trying to get caught up on all the MCU films I haven't seen. Anyway, what are your thoughts on all this stuff? Let me know down below. Did you love Fantastic Four First Steps or not? Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.